If you ever doubted whether you're a creative or wondered why your process doesn't match the stereotype, then this conversation is for you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Creative Artist Podcast. My name is Shiron, and today I have my wife and producer, Lizzie, together to break down this mix.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. The first myth is creativity is an innate talent. You either have it or you don't. Let's just start off with what you think, and then, go for it.
I think as a kid, I thought this one was true. Because when you go into art class and things, it's always the people's paintings and artistic projects that are always praised the most and get the higher grade. But I think we've come to find that that's not true.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think for the longest time, I thought that you're either creative or you're not. So it's been really eye-opening. If you actually listen to the early episodes of this podcast, you will hear me saying that. And I have come a long way to a point of understanding that anybody can be creative. And it's super relieving to know that. Real quick, any kind of facts that you found out?
So when you think about the brain is actually an organ that can be rewired. So even thinking about, I've done a lot of research in grief and mental health and all of those things. And you learn that when you are depressed and things, when you develop patterns of like when you get yourself out of that. So like going for a walk. I'm trying to think what other doing things that bring you joy that kind of helps to rewire your brain in such a way that your brain kind of starts to remember the pattern of like, oh, this feels good. Like I'm not sad about this anymore. And the same is actually true for creativity, is that our whole entire brain is involved in the processes for creativity. And so over time, the more we practice drawing or practice music, over time the brain starts to rewire itself in such a way that then it becomes quote unquote talent, as we would see.
No way.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just a matter of rewiring your brain.
Yep. Practice, consistency, as you've talked about many times on the podcast, of just putting those reps in, exercising the muscles as if you're going to the gym for the first day. Day 1 of going to the gym, you're weak. Day 100, you're a completely different body form that can handle so much more and produce so much more.
So creativity is not an innate talent. You do have it.
Right. Even singing. I think people think singing is something that you are born with the gift of, but there are many people, I've heard testimonies of people saying that they've gone to a vocal coach and they've been able to kind of learn that. So
that's interesting. Yeah. I still think the same, but wow, I am biased. Not that I can sing that well, but I just think that I was always, how can I let that one go? That one was something that I grew up with.
Well, pitch and things, but if you constantly listen, you practice the pattern, I think, of listening and understanding what good.
It is interesting. I do know a person who does sing on a stage, who I wouldn't say that they know pitches well, but they are able to look at music in a very logical way by as steps. And they're able to kind of sing it that way. And they actually do pretty well for the most part, actually. Yeah, okay.
When you put logic into it, do you think that pulls away from the creativity? Is that what?
I think at this point of understanding creativity, it can be many things, right? So, like, I know that person finds so much joy in singing. Right, and it's not just about being on a stage or anything for that person. It's more about the fact that they can use their talent, quote unquote, to find joy and share joy. So it's a very hard thing. It's a very subjective thing, as I'm realizing now. Shoot.
Well, I think this leads into the next myth that you can't be creative unless you're working in the arts. Yeah. So this kind of brings the conversation of what actually is creativity. Is creativity isolated within the arts of being music and drawing and visual and performing arts, or does it kind of expand into mathematics and STEM and engineering and doctoral work and all of those things?
Entrepreneurship as well.
Right.
Yeah, I think creativity definitely is not just for the arts. And I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say that I'm openly like changing and evolving about my how I saw creativity over time. Because if you ask me when I was until 25 or something like that, I would be like, yeah, creativity is about being artistic and doing something with arts, and that's something I felt like that was drilled into me. But now that's not the case at all. I mean, we're going to be highlighting a bunch of startups, and it blows my mind that I can go into a space like that, first of all, because I have no qualifications whatsoever to kind of, I mean, that's also not true because I have learned so many things, skills over time that I could eventually learn what those processes are and how they used to do, like big tech startups and stuff like that. But yeah, no, creativity they use all the time. One of my there's a tech startup guy, uh, I think in California, building AI video editing software, and uh, it's super creative how because he's building in public, so he's putting all the videos out of him building, and you could see like whenever they would hit a problem, they would creatively solve it, and it's so refreshing to watch them like problem solve. What does the fact say?
Well, I mean, growing up, I remember being taught creative problem solving is everything. Like, in order to figure anything out, you need to be creative, do creative problem solving.
Yeah.
And so, if you think of that, and then think about the premise of creativity is following your curiosity. In order to have the systems we have, engineering, even NASA has said that it takes creative problem solving to have the engineering and the structures and things that we have in place. So
Yeah, because I look at my father too. Because he, growing up, he always did like woodworking, any kind of problem solving in the house. He was always a go-to guy, and he always in the previous episode you said like I always have a piece of wood lying around waiting for the right project, and I learned it from him. You don't throw anything away because eventually something will become super useful.
right. The next myth, the creative people are disorganized and chaotic. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know what this means. I never experienced. Oh my gosh! Yeah, I am all of those.
You are very much. But I think we can debunk it because even you have said previously that consistency, over time, you build your systems.
Yeah, I think. See, that's something that being in a career in a creative field allows you to learn that is something that you absolutely need to have, right? Like when I got into video editing, I think I was horrible at it and I just hated it, and I still kind of do to a certain extent. But as I delve into the process of that on YouTube, a lot of people are teaching me like, hey, you can't just do this like willy-nilly. And so they have these processes and things that help you plan out like from the point of dropping a file from your camera to your computer. There's a process, an organization method. I might not be organization in real life, but if you look at my hard drive, it is absolutely beautiful because everything is nice and organized, and I cannot live in a world that is not organized in that sense. But when it comes to creativity, it's messy. Like I have ADHD, and sometimes I think about ADHD as like following your curiosity. I'm more in tune to following my curiosity. So I might be doing a project, and like half of the way, I'm like, wait, I want to go do something with woodworking because the project I'm working on is getting boring, or I'm hitting a rock, I'm hitting a problem, and I can't solve it. So I need to go do something that's more exciting, that is creative. So I go and woodwork or something in the middle of a video editing project, and I come back covered with sawdust, and then back to editing. You're nodding like you have no idea.
No, but this conversation, it's interesting because it reminds me of teaching at the school I taught at. I taught it for a few years, and one of the things we talked about
What
was...
grade did you teach?
I taught kindergarten,
Okay.
so the little ones. But one of the premises of the school is to help give students habits. So making sure that when they come into the door, they're doing the same thing. When they have a question, when they need something, we're doing similar like hand raising or similar signs and things. That way the student can focus on freeing up their working memory.
Wait, explain to me what?
So the working memory is the part of your brain. We're actually using it right now. So we're having a conversation. The words we're developing, the words that we're hearing, it's all taking space in our working memory. When we develop habits, it frees up our working memory because we don't have to think about making those decisions consciously.
Right.
So people have morning routines because they want to be able to move throughout their day without thinking too much about what kind of coffee they're drinking or when they're going to brush their teeth.
Or wearing the same clothes over and over again.
Right. Yep. They build a habit. That way it frees up their working memory. So when you create those systems for video editing, for drawing or any of those things, you free up decisions that you have to make in that moment. So instead of you deciding what folder you're going to put a file in, your brain already knows where it's going to go, and that frees you up to be able to think more about the artistic parts of the creating.
Right. That makes sense. How about you? Do you have any?
We were talking about this yesterday. I'm trying to do some illustration work, and I don't have quite down a process for when I'm drawing in Procreate, just because when I hit that flow state, it's so hard for me to memorize what brush I'm using or what color I'm using or different layering of brushes that I'm using. So I'm still trying to figure out a process for that. That way, when I go back to do different illustrations that need to be cohesive with that one that I've made, that I don't have to think too much about
something
it.
I realized as you were saying that you couldn't do that, I realized I also go after I finish the whole thing, I tend to think from outside perspective, like what the heck did I do just now, type of thing. And I think I actually spend some time usually about the process, and that's how I jot it down and come up with a plan, because especially with YouTube videos, right? You follow what those instructions say one by one, and then you do them in that. If you follow a YouTube video, you just kind of follow it, and then you do the video. But if you don't actually think and pause and wait, what is the process again? It doesn't connect, it doesn't process. You just followed a bunch of actions that you didn't think about it. So it's very important to be wait, this is what I did.
Yeah.
I need to understand how I can replicate this. How can I can get my mind to think this way.
Yeah.
That's what softwares really are.
Yeah, for sure.
To learning how to think like the software.
Yeah, I think my hands are in so many different kinds of creative projects, like website design, branding, illustration work, that I haven't had a chance to fully put those systems in place. But I'm noticing that there is a commonality between those, where I'd spent 2 days trying to brainstorm for a project. I now know I just need to go to Pinterest and create a board and get inspiration from there, and that's freed me up, I think, a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the next one is creative people always wait for inspiration to strike. I guess it depends on the person, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, there are people who do, some. I think I used to be one of those people. Oh,
it's
let me
easier
just,
that way.
Well, yeah, you just come and sit on the table and now I will wait until inspiration comes. And I've actually come to understand that procrastination is a part of creativity sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
And allowing yourself to take breaks and instead of waiting, do something that actually builds your curiosity, your imagination, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I noticed one trap for me is I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, this is my goal for this project. And then I'll get there and I'm like, oh, no, we can spend another hour on this and extend this goal. And that's when I get stuck, because I've done what I said I was going to do. I need to move on to something else and let it breathe for a second.
Yeah, I think it's very hard, right? If you talk to a designer with a deadline, they will be like, well, you can't do that. Or they will be like, well, you do it in a way where you allow time to do that.
Yeah.
I still think one of my cousins, I was talking to her, she's in marketing and she manages employees and she has Gen Z's employees. And I asked her, how do you deal with them? And she told me, well, if the employee wants to go home because they have no inspiration, I just tell them to go home because I know eventually they will get it done.
Yeah.
Because you need time for things to, the working memory concept. Like in the morning when I take a shower, that's when all my crazy ideas come, unless I have another type of time where I sit down and do nothing or whatever. So I can always like count on that time to be able to kind of come up with a plan and things like that. So you kind of tend to live in like less stress because you know your systems will eventually work.
Right. Trial and error of knowing like yourself, knowing like even certain people have certain times of a week where it's just more creative for them versus like a different time depending on environmental things. So you just kind of learn yourself through trial and error.
Exactly.
But the reps, the consistency, I think is the thing that's most important for this one.
So I guess the thing is like, what makes people not be consistent?
I think when it gets hard, well, I mean, there's so many things, right? So in this case, it's when it gets hard. So that's like you give up and you're like, what's the point in doing this anymore? I'm not inspired. But then daily life things, I think like I can easily get distracted by the dishes.
Yeah. But then you go and do the dishes and come back and you're super excited to create.
Yeah. Yep.
Or clean.
So I'm learning to accept that like the dishes is an invitation to take a break and let something breathe.
Yeah.
And then come back.
That's true, because I used to get super frustrated and get up and leave and give up on it.
Yeah.
Now I'm realizing get up and leave not because I'm giving up on it, because I need a break. My brain, my creative brain needs a break.
Right.
And to do something that is working memory-esque.
Yes. Right. Yep. It's removing yourself from that all or nothing approach.
Yeah, I wonder where the all or nothing, where the mindset came to be.
I know for my brain, I just like to check boxes.
Where does that come from? The need to check boxes.
To be free from assignments.
But then
when you get things done, there's freedom, right?
But the funny thing is, like a creative like me, even though I might feel the pressure of the assignments, I still will be like, I don't care. I need the time to be away because I will eventually check the box.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's painful for me to step away. Well, I think part of it's too like a little bit of my pride, right? I want to be able to like get things done quickly and efficiently. And I think there's also a narrative in our culture that says like the more efficient and the more quick you are as a graphic designer or an artist, the better you are.
Oh.
I think that's something that exists.
I mean, yeah, because people judge by the outcome or the frequency of outcome.
Right. Yep. Because people outside of the creative world think that us creatives can just copy and paste all day long.
Right.
And out of thin air, just create something. But that's just, the more creatives I meet, the more I understand that that's just not the case, even for the experienced workers.
I mean, even YouTube, if you think about it, they recognize consistency more.
Right.
Right, and algorithm rewards you more for consistency.
Right.
Right.
So maybe the algorithms are a favor for that.
Well, yeah, but then at the same time though, like a creative has so much more to deal with than just get the thing done.
Right. Yes.
And so in that way, it's the algorithm favors and not.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
All these people that we know that are artists. For most people, we only know like one or two projects that they've created in their whole life that made them famous. It's not like they have thousands of pieces that we attribute to them.
Right.
So,
Yet they still create.
Right. And yet they still felt that imposter syndrome and that not good enough.
That too.
And yet we still talk about them to this day. And they've revolutionized like inventions and everything. Like it just changed our life that we have today.
Very true. Right. Action sparks inspiration, not the other way around.
Yeah.
You know, it's so liberating sometimes to know that all it takes is an action. Like I think about this whole ordeal of recording in Sri Lanka. Like it started with a crazy idea. It's like me talking to you.
Crazy is an understatement.
I remember gonna go to Sri Lanka for a month, and then we're gonna record 20 episodes.
Chaos. This is the chaos that exists in our world.
But then then in the other action was not just saying it out loud, but then like talking to so many people.
Yeah.
And the cool part is like, I mean, I don't even know what the percentage, if I think about the people who were not interested in the idea to who were like. And the funny thing is, out of like 50, 60 people I talked to, maybe 15 or 20 were really excited. And out of that, the people who actually helped me connect are like 10.
Yeah.
And I could sit there and be like completely miserable, and there were some moments it felt like disappointing. Don't get me wrong, that it was. She would tell you, but we've come to a point where we know that this is what the process looks like,
Yeah. Sure.
right? Like it's anybody who's done anything knows disappointment and failure like the back of their hands, right? So that just means that the liberation that comes from like failure is only when you give up, not when you fail, has been this theme this year for me, has completely liberated me. Like I don't care who is not helping me. All I care about is like who is actually interested, who is willing to partner up, who is willing to collaborate, who's excited by the idea. Like those people, with those little people, and the amount of, I mean, I can go on, and I don't want to jinx anything just yet, but like the amount of cool conversations I'm gonna be part of, right? Like I could never dream of, because people see the passion in not giving up too, which is really powerful.
Yeah. It's reminded me that it's about the next step, like the next small action, and not like the big picture of it all. Because if you just focus on that next conversation instead of like 1 week from now, like last week we were thinking about all of these interviews and like how we're gonna schedule them, and like we're here today, and it's like everything's falling into place.
Right. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had some cancellations due to like health issues, but then we pivoted.
Right.
We're doing this now.
The next step.
Yeah, and the next step. And yes, it's exhausting, I think, sometimes. It's emotionally draining, but I think we bounce back much quicker now. We've gone through so many of them. I think that we just know how this process works. Like,
but I think that's what happens when our eyes go too much of zoomed out, right? Like that's when that expectation isn't met.
Oh,
and it's like if we would have just
because the expectation was all the guests were scheduled today.
Right.
They were going to happen according to plan.
Yep.
I need
Easy,
to focus on
back to
everything.
back.
Yeah, I need to focus on all the other people now, because
we all have
this
the
day is
resources
taken
in
care of.
place for them, like editing and everything.
Yeah, and so it's fun, I guess. I think it is fun. It's definitely chaos. You need to live in chaos. Why not? The world is anyways. All right. You can either be creative or logical, not both.
I think we kind of debunked this one
Did we?
already, that you need both logic and creativity in creative work.
The cool thing is, I think since I kind of been working on creativity and spending time on creativity, I have taken away a lot of those negative ways of thinking about myself, that I'm not smart enough and things like that, right? Once you take those things out, you tend to be more open-minded into learning, into trying things out, that kind of thing, right? And so I think even with the help of ChatGPT, like asking questions, like things that I don't understand, and really... and then getting the answer and be like, oh, wow, that's all this was? Like, and then going to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And all of a sudden, you know such a wide array of information that you did not know before, or I didn't. In my situation, I didn't allow myself to even be open to learning because I just simply just said, "Hey, not smart enough," right? That has helped me understand that there is a good creative, a healthy creative has to be both logical and creative. Sometimes you got to listen more to the creative side. Sometimes you got to listen more to the logical side. And somewhere down the road, you have to also think a little bit about realistic ideas, being realistic.
Okay.
But that's like a really tiny priority for me. Did you find any facts or anything?
Well, it's the MRI. The
Oh,
both
yeah.
sides of your brain are working together. But it's funny because I always used to think I was more logical,
Yeah.
and that's why I couldn't be creative because
You
I'm
didn't
very
allow yourself to think you're a creative. I had to
Yes.
tell her that she was creative. She literally told me, I'm not creative. I'm like, you're drawing, you're doing calligraphy. Like, who is a creative then?
because there's a system to everything I did, and there is a mythology.
And it's
there.
funny,
I'm
now you're having a
perfectionist.
hard time coming up with a system with your creative.
That's true. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So you need to actually connect the old Lizzie and the new Lizzie
that's
together.
The next chapter.
Right, right. Because you kind of gone away from too much of old Lizzie.
Yeah. It's funny though, because it also reminds me of maybe a month ago, we were moving stuff around in the house because you were updating your office. And we were trying to figure out how to reorganize our kitchen to make it more functional. And this one is like, we have a dresser in the garage. Why don't we bring it out and put it in the kitchen?
And it wasn't just like a crappy dresser either.
No, it was a nice one.
Like
but
a mid-century modern.
Yeah.
It was something that we picked up from a Goodwill, like a secondhand store, that we were going to
For a
finish.
bedroom. Yeah. And he's like, why don't we put that in the kitchen? And I'm like, no, it's going to get greasy. It's going to get gross. Like all of these things. And he was like, let's just try it out. And it's been the best solution we've had in our house in a while. So creativity and logic. There we go. Functional and it looks pretty. So
Yeah, because I mean, the only thing that was holding you back from using that in the kitchen was the fact that it's supposed to be used in a bedroom.
it's true.
That was the only thing. Like somebody told us that the dresser belongs in the kitchen. Period.
Yeah, that logic. I guess the logic prevented the creativity.
Yeah.
Logic.
Yeah, it's we're really using logic in a very broad sense. Yeah.
So that kind of follows into the next myth. Creativity doesn't follow rules, so anything goes. In graphic design world and photography, you have the rule of thirds. So it's interesting because actually this is one of the reasons I dropped, I think it was 3 art classes in college because I could not stand the rules.
Yeah.
The rules drove me crazy, which is funny since I'm such a perfectionist, logical person, but I think it's because I couldn't follow the rules to a T, so they boxed me in. So I think the rules exist, but I don't think we need to constrain ourselves to the rules.
I think it's important to understand why certain rules are there, right? Because as a creative, I think you get to interpret the rules. Because I still don't think that there should be rules, period, right? But I also have the maturity to understand that certain rules are there because of that it actually helps a person or whatever. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, you do the research, you do the understanding part, then see if you need to apply the rule. That makes more sense for me to do that. I think that's what I do now.
I almost wonder if it just depends on your purpose, whether you're creating for functionality or out of curiosity.
I mean, even really just examining why the rule was put, right? Because I guess if you go to art class, right, they just teach you a bunch of rules, and
color theory, all of those
right,
things,
all these things, and they are helpful, right? They are helpful to certain people who might have the eye for color, right? Like color theory will help.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's don't just follow the rules because it was a rule.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yep.
Use the rule if it helps.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to film producing and editing and all that kind of stuff, color grading, all these things, right?
Yeah.
There are so many rules you can follow if you want to, but in films, a lot of the people, producers and directors who don't follow the rules are the ones who gets the awards and things like that
Right.
too. So don't
Yeah, yeah.
do not disregard rules,
Right.
but understand why the rule is there, and then if you need to not follow it, then don't. But follow it if it helps you.
Right. Yeah. And that's like what the research says too, is that you understand them and you just use them
Oh.
as springboards. But I think that there's value too in following your creativity first and
Yes.
then visiting the rules. Because even like
Yeah.
in my own experience, like with color, especially since I'm so picky about color, but it's been like, I guess I kind of learned about color theory and stuff when I was like in elementary school. I don't remember anything other than the color wheel.
Wait, so all your color theory knowledge is based on elementary. I think I'm going to not listen to you.
It's actually affirmed. The more I've looked into things, the more it's affirmed that like my understanding of why this works and this doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. It kind of makes me, I'm like, oh wow, I kind of know what I'm talking about. It's affirmed it.
From elementary school. Are you kidding me right
I
now?
told you I dropped out of college courses. They didn't get me.
They're getting me.
All right, the next one. Creative work must always be original and unique.
Oh, I guess that's kind of already a myth, right? Like people know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and social media and things. But I think
Yeah. It's like, social media is literally copying.
so bad. I hate the amount of times I've seen people copy people's posts and things, and I'm like, why can't we just give proper credit?
Well,
It's okay
yeah.
if you've copied it, but
Yeah, I think, right. Like, I mean, it's super hard to come up with a unique, original idea.
yep.
And even the ones who have come up with those, they would say that they followed a whole bunch of other people, they follow their
Right.
work and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like, I mean, especially I tell people who want to get into music or art or whatever the case may be, like play a song that somebody else has written
Right.
or
Yeah.
drawn or whatever. Try to mimic a way somebody else is doing something, right?
Yeah.
Especially playing piano. Like, it's funny when I play music, the amount of melodies and techniques that come out of just me watching a video of
Yeah.
somebody, not for the sake of learning, but for the sake of enjoying, randomly comes into play. So when you think about that, it's kind of that, right?
Yeah, I can relate to that especially as a visual artist. I know I've felt this pressure that like I just need to like create something out of nothing. And over time I've come to kind of trust my process, and Pinterest is my go-to just because I'm such a visual person. I can kind of get a grasp of what I'm trying to create, the feeling, maybe get some colors, but it's hard for me to completely visualize. And so when I go there and I see visualizations, even if I pick one that's like a source of inspiration, by the end of my art, it's completely different from what I had picked. And so I think we need to give people more grace in giving them more permission, I'd say, to kind of explore and to kind of study,
Yeah.
because you can't just create something out of nothing. Some
No.
people can, maybe,
Yeah.
but
But even creating something out of nothing sometimes might look like a person seeing the vision in their head and then
Right.
creating. So
Right.
there's still
yeah,
a reference point
right. Yeah,
where that idea was kind of evolved or whatever.
yeah. But I almost think it's like telling a kid to write a book and they've never read a book before. That it's just not an expectation
Yeah.
you can achieve. So,
But you can tell a kid to form a story, and characters and things like that. You can guide them to, right?
Yep.
But not be like, hey, just write a book,
right. Yeah, it's fascinating because when I was in college, I ended up in a law and literature writing class. It was, I don't know how an elementary teacher ends up in one of these classes, but we had to read some books by Charles Dickinson and then recreate his writing based on an experience that we've had. So I had to literally study his way of writing and then apply it and write like I was him.
Wow.
And that was interesting because it it was a completely different story. It wasn't the same experience that Charles Dickinson had. So obviously it's going to be different. But it's fascinating what you can create, I think, when you look at other people's work and how they can inspire. Yeah, because even Shakespeare, his works have some stuff that's inspired by other people and copied other people. And we don't ever hear about that. So.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
So copy.
Yeah, I guess. Copy and see where the creativity or curiosity leads you to.
Yeah, I think here's the thing, right? If you fully copy somebody, like after you create, usually there's like a little bit of like subconscious saying like, okay, this is not entirely your work, but you still created. The gauge should be, I created something out of something I saw, but what I have created now is something that is truly unique, right? And you can be actually proud of yourself for that, then I think that would be a good gauge of like, I did that right.
Right. Yeah. I think we can all know when something's copy and paste. And if you're still wondering if something's copy and paste, just tag the person. I think anyone would be glad to know that they've inspired another person to create. And if someone has a problem with that, I think there's probably other hurt issues that person needs to work through.
That's so true. That's so true.
All right, last myth. What are we working on? Last one.
Good creative work happens quickly and effortlessly. Blood and tears must be shed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this could happen if you're like a really seasoned creative.
Really?
Maybe it could. It could happen effortlessly if like a person who has consistently created over time, and that it has like, it's almost like they can do it in their sleep type of thing.
You think it's good creative work though?
I think so. Could be, because I think like if you're a healthy creative, right, and you have created consistently, then when I say good creative, a creative who understands creativity as a way to connect with themselves, right? And not just a job or a project or whatever. Like the way I look at creativity is that like every time I create something for me or somebody else, regardless, I'm still creating. So the same reverence goes to the process. So if you're doing that over and over and over again, you're going to know yourself in a very deeper way. You're going to know all your nuances and how to navigate those things, all your feelings and things like that. You know how to navigate them. So it becomes effortless in that way where you learn how to talk to your negative self or negative talk and all that kinds of things. You've already overcome a lot of those things, right? Like, I don't think you're 100% free from all those things, but consistency allows you to do that over and over again. And that, for me, that looks effortless, because then you are able to be more curious, listen to yourself and the directions that your curiosity is taking. Because I think for me, creativity is simply just that, listening to your curiosity and following it. That to me is what creativity is. So if you're a good creative, a seasoned creative who's creating from those parameters as a healthy thing, then I think it can be effortless.
But that takes time
to
build.
Yeah.
It's not just like...
Yeah, that's what I said. That seasoned person can say that, but for a normal creative, no, it's definitely full of effort.
I'd be interested in knowing if anyone's achieved that.
Yeah. I mean, I forget the author I mentioned a while ago, Stephen King, right?
Oh, yeah.
Stephen King, his goal every day is to only write 6 pages.
Yeah.
So that's his only goal. And I mean, like, he broke down his whole process to that. If he can write 6 pages, he's happy. And he's done it so many times that he trusts how he sounds and what he's saying and how he expresses himself. I don't know if it's effortless still, but to me, that sounds like effortless.
We've got to have Stephen King on the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, because he talks about how he breaks down the story.
Yeah.
And he has a general outline of what the book is going to be about.
Right.
He's done that over so many times, right? So then he's applied the same thing to his process. So I guess this is a myth that only applies if it only applies if you're not a seasoned creative. And it can also, this kind of problem can happen to a seasoned creative, but
It's the consistency in getting your reps in.
and the thing is, I want to be clear with the whole consistency talk. Consistency can look like posting every day or creating every day. To consistency can look like posting today, having a meltdown the next day, but then getting back up and creating again, and another meltdown, and then still, like, the point of consistency is getting back up and creating. Right?
Yeah.
I at least, if you take social media out of the context and just looking at the point of view of creativity, then that should be that.
Yeah.
Consistency, to me at least, often is associated with social media and algorithms and things like that, which, if you really think about it, say it out loud, I'm like, that is not even close to creativity.
Right. Yeah.
It does not even apply.
That's marketing.
To that. It's marketing. It's marketing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, people who do post consistently are the ones at a studio like this and recording videos all day long, pushing through all of that so that they can create other things and whatever while the videos are posted every single day. So that consistency is really, meeting once a day or once a month or whatever and pushing through all of that. So consistency, it might look like consistency to us, but it is consistent. For them, the creator, they once a month, they consistently made 30 piece of content.
But it's consistency for their work. Is that consistency for creativity?
Oh, I mean, no, I don't think so, right? Like, the goal is to consistently create.
Yeah.
I'm going to hate the word consistency now. So, what are some of the myths that you thought about creativity?
I think perfectionists can't be creative.
Yeah.
That's one.
Wait, one more time.
Perfectionists cannot be creative. That's one. I continue to see debunked. It's actually the other way around. Most creatives are perfectionists.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say the interior designer, Shiron, would be like, no, you have to be.
She did say that. Well, she is a perfectionist.
Right.
Yeah.
But she also said that being an interior designer, you almost need to be a perfectionist.
I think that's client work. Maybe.
True.
You kind of have you have a client who is expecting something, and if you don't meet that or exceed that, you're failing your client.
Yeah.
So you have to, in their eyes, be perfect.
Perfectionism, that's a hard one, I think.
Yeah, it is, because it's like a hard tension of not knowing when to lay something down and when you're almost at the peak of achieving that design or that project's greatness. Yeah.
I do not have the problem of perfectionism.
No, he does not. Just look at all the captions. You'll see. It's okay. We all have our gifts and our.
All my one of my previous videos on this same podcast, like, there's like a couple of like spaces where it's a black screen because I missed it. Because I just, like, I'm done being perfectionist. I just need to post this video because I spent too much time trying to edit the
Yeah, I think it's picking and choosing what to be a perfectionist about. Like, I'm realizing even though I feel like graphic designers are in a hard space because it's like their social media is their portfolio.
Yeah.
So I'd spend hours on a post because I'm like, oh my gosh, someone's going to judge me based on my work, based on this post.
when
It's
they
like,
barely spend a second looking at it.
well, I mean, it's the first impression of what I do as an artist.
True.
It's my portfolio. But if I'm going to actually move my business forward, I got to figure out what that tension of, like, what's good enough. It might not look perfect. Like, I noticed one of my posts recently has something misspelled.
Oh, yeah.
And I had handwritten it. And I was like, I can't handwrite it again. It's going to take me another half an hour to fix this post to do that.
Right.
So I had to lay it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about perfectionism is that not everybody will get to see it. Like, like the one video, the episode I posted, the mistakes happen after an hour. and my my videos don't get like that much that much viewer retention. So
Yeah.
I was like, do I pull it back or leave it? Well, one day when I hit the hour mark, maybe they will see and comment, and that will actually drive engagement. So forget perfectionism.
That's funny. I think done is better than not done, than
Done is
being
better than
parallel.
not
Is
done.
you just have to pick what your 80% is going to be and what your 20% is going to be. You just can't do it all. It's a hard pill to swallow. But
What's the 80%, 20%?
you got to pick like what 20% is like, because 100%, if you're trying to do everything 100% of perfection, that's, you got to decide what 20% you're going to let go. And
Letting go is the hard part, right?
oh yeah, because it feels like you're like not doing that piece of art, like whether it's a post, a video, or like even like when I would design a product, like I'm like, I'm not doing it justice. I'm not like giving it into its full integrity that it should be.
See, earlier on in the episodes, my previous co-host Ben and I, we discussed this idea of making a prototype,
Yes, life changing.
and yeah, that is life changing because if I just create a prototype, problem solved,
Yeah.
and because that just allows you to know that you can always improve it over and over again. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm able to post so many episodes at this by this time, because if perfectionism actually was something that I paid attention to, you're gonna see much less videos of us, and nobody will actually get to see the actual work we do.
Yeah, prototypes. It's crazy how.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a good stopping point here. Uh, Let us know if you guys like this type of setup where my producer wife and I, we get to talk about creativity, especially better than just listening to me talk to you individually. So I have a feeling that you like this better than the other one. So it's much easier for me. But yeah, let us know what myths that you agree or disagree. Please write on the comments. We would love to start a conversation, a community where we actually celebrate this and go deep down into these topics. So until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, keep going on your own creative odyssey. See you later.